important basketball game coming up for Florida State against Syracuse. But there's that result. Of course, the transfer portal stuff continued to be a boon for Florida State. Your portal's been shaky lately.
That's a good one.
You used to put more vigor in the portal. I think you've gotten a little soft in the portal. It used to be a lot more sort of there was a lot going on. Now it's kind of that's a get you some portal right there.
There you go. All right.
We got to move that stupid mic out of the way. It's going to bother me when it's in my line of sight.
It's off camera. I'll grab it.
Get it during the break. But anyhow,
you're in a solo shot. We're covered.
It's fine. No, don't worry about that. It's going to eat at me. I like to have a line of communication with my man over there. That's how that has to work. Anyhow, so I would tell you. So we hit that. We continue to get excited about that. So every day there's good news on that front. There continues to be anyhow. But beyond comments this week that if you read Corey Clark's story, Warchant.com, McKenzie Milton talking about the NIL and opt-outs and all that stuff, that's good. But you could just feel like we're on fumes with college football. It's over. It's over. There's always that last little smattering of news where you go, oh, God, I'm still holding on. And then you're like, that's it. Okay, it's time to hibernate.
There is a dormancy period coming here, if that's a word.
It's not coming. It's happened.
Well, Ira and I did a video this morning on a story that he has on the front page of warchant.com about NIL legislation and how it can help the state of Florida catch back up.
Yeah, we knew that was coming.
Yeah. We did a video talking about how we got here and what would it look like after the legislation is passed. But, I mean, that ain't exactly, breaking down why our two deep on the defensive line is going to struggle this year without Keir Thomas and Jermaine Johnson. Kind of a different conversation, but still very important for the health of the football program and all athletics at FSU.
The law, if passed, goes into effect July the 1st. Florida's legislative session is slated to end on March the 11th. Those are the dates you need to know. Go read the story. I talked about this. Ira has written more in-depthly about it, and plus there's the video. But we talked about this at the end of the year when this was omnipresent. The conversation was, what the hell, man? Why are there different laws in different states? Why are some able to do more and us do less?
Yeah, the basic part of it is it sucks because Florida was the trailblazer for this particular project, and it was the leader that led the NCAA to say, you guys figure it out. In a way, we handcuffed ourselves by being the first to do it. Yeah. But if we didn't do it, would it have ever happened? It's the chicken and the egg. Florida may have been both.
So obviously, we know our current governor was a major proponent of college athletes in the state being able to earn money and was at the forefront of talking about that. I agreed with him on that. We all did, and or a lot of us did anyhow, and we were excited about being at the forefront with that. And then you realize that maybe it wasn't advantageous to be first. So look, the bottom line is we keep coming back to something here on the regular, which is that it's fine for players to be able to benefit from name, image, likeness. We just need the rules to be uniform. We need, A, there to be rules, and B, there has to be uniformity. And that's all we wanted. I really didn't. All the other stuff we can debate about what's right, what isn't, how much is too much or too little, whatever you want to argue about. The point was we just needed the rules to be the same in each state.
Well, and given that, and this is more just a factual statement than it is a political commentary, but given that this state is largely controlled by Republican interests in the legislation at the governor's office, you are, as a Republican in general, you don't like regulations as much. You would rather have your hands not tied down, fewer regulations so you can do what you need to do in order to get where you need to go. So what's interesting about that is the legislation actually had a regulation that they thought would be common sense. That you don't want the schools getting tied into this because that's a really dicey deal, especially when it comes to the NCAA.
Yeah.
They didn't anticipate, no one could have, that the NCAA just said, the hell with it. You guys figure it out. Yeah. So we put a regulation on ourselves.
That forbade college representatives from being part of the NIL process.
Yes, that we thought would be the bare minimum of what was necessary, but instead we overregulated ourselves because college football said, it's the Wild West, y'all figure it out.
Well, also, what's funny about that is, of course, the NCAA lost in court, and then that was the end of that. It was kind of like, you never really did have real legal power, but now you have no power. These leagues have just said, hey, guess what? We're going to do it anyhow. What do you think of them apples? And I'll tell you what else we're going to do. We're going to take Texas and Oklahoma, too. And then you know what else we're going to do? Yeah.
And what sucks about it is the NCAA, much like for its drug testing policy, says
figure it out yourself. But you just have to adhere to whatever yours is.
Exactly, which is where the legislation held us down. And for one recruiting class, here's the brass tacks part of it. For one recruiting class, we were at a disadvantage. Hopefully, if this passes by the end of session, then everything's hunky-dory and we will be at least on a level playing field in that aspect. Now, you want to talk about the actual dollars and cents for the other schools, we're not on a level playing field, but at least the university can streamline the process and maybe have some corporate sponsors redirect money towards an NIL fund rather than having to do this thing like, oh, we can't tell you. Wink, wink, they're over there.
This isn't loosey-goosey at all, Tom. We have not begun Libations Friday with even one iota of loosey-goosey talk.
Well, college football is as loosey-goosey as it's been in a long time.
In terms of what is allowed, not allowed, what's going on, what isn't going on. Yes, I agree, but not the Jeff Cameron show. We are coming in swinging serious. This is a laid-back, let's talk about the playoffs edition of the Jeff Cameron show. Let's make some money. Let's celebrate that line that T. Lizzie gave out last night. Lightning minus a goal and a half. Cover 4-2. Get you some. All right, Big Daddy. Let's do it. Yeah, we'll celebrate.
Done it again.
Yeah. So there'll be some of that today. As the clock ticks, I begin to believe that the Bengals are going to blow the Raiders out.
No, that's Joe Burrow talking to you.
No.
Hello, Jeff. It's me again.
Oh, I love you, Joe. You don't have to woo me. I'm telling you, though, I'm beginning to think what an exhausting run for Las Vegas. Well done, sirs. Way to overcome, and I mean overcome a lot. Some tragedy mixed with buffoonery, mixed with controversy,
a-holery,
mixed with some we'll pull ourselves up by the bootstraps, God dog it, and make this thing happen. They did. I admire that. I do admire that team. I really do.
They're the Bootstraps. That's their new name.
I do admire them, man. That's crazy what they did. That is, I mean, remember, it kind of, I think the first time that you raised the eyebrow and went, well, what is going on here is when they went on the road and beat the Colts and came back to do, like, well, this is okay.
Yeah, because the Colts were the hottest team in football until they weren't.
And then they weren't. And now they're basically telling you they're moving on from Carson Wentz, which I would too. My God, late this year, that was not, no, not good. A lot of frustration. I was, that team, they still have to be sitting home going, how in the hell, winning you're in against Jacksonville and you get blown out? That is not what we do. But I'm also of the mindset that's
not what you do.
No, it's not. I'm also of the mindset that Saturday night's kind of going to be fun. Like that Patriots-Bills games feels like a slobber knocker. It feels like a game in which it's a battle of souls. Like people are going to get hit hard in the freezing cold frequently. And I think Josh Allen's going to run. A lot of running. My man is going to have to buck up, which he can. That's a big boy. Not afraid of running.
I got to get a clip of Jim Ross saying slobber knocker because that's 2. The count today is 2 on the word slobber knocker.
All right, Gregory, I know you want those Raiders to win, but I don't see it. But I'm excited about that game. I'm excited about all these games. This is the day. Wasn't it this day last year? This is the wild card weekend. We were like, golly, this never ends. I was exhausted with the extra game. We ended up being exhausted.
Yeah, we actually played a round of golf the morning of the Saturday games of the wild card weekend at Cap City with our friends. Mm-hmm. And when we sat down, the score in Buffalo was stunning at the time. I think it was because the Bills were losing. I forget. We sat down for lunch at the lovely dining room inside the veranda at Capital City Country Club. And that started the whole chain of events. Sometimes wild card weekend's terrible. Sometimes it is. The division weekend always delivers. Sometimes wild card weekend is legendary. This one, I don't know. It looks like maybe 2 or 3 of the games could be really good, and then there'd probably be, some stinkers.
Well, if you're playing the odds, there are stinkers that are going to take place. That usually happens, but I don't know, man. We've been very fortunate. There have been weekend after weekend after weekend. We've gotten 2 or 3 remarkable games. And I just feel like the playoffs are going to provide a lot of that again. I think there's enough parity here that it's going to be a lot of fun to watch. And I'm at this point, I'm looking at that Bengals team to get the cover. That was the first one I came out with. And then I went from there, and I thought a lot about this Bills game. I like the Bills, but I'm going to stay away from the 4. And I'm just going to take them on the money line.
Yeah.
I'm just going to take them on the money line.
Right, straight to win. Or do you like the Patriots with the 10.5 insurance?
If you did it, I would do that.
Yeah. It doesn't feel like the Bills are going to win this thing by 11 or more, does it?
It doesn't feel like a game I want to mess with. It doesn't feel like a game I want to mess with at all. I'm having a tough. I like the Bills to win the game. That's all I know. I like the Bills to win the game.
17-10.
Well, I'm going to leave it alone. Well, if you're going to say that, then you could go ahead and jump on that under. I will also say that I think the only thing I'm certain of, and I really hope I'm wrong, I'm certain that the Rams are going to beat the Cardinals.
So even if Stafford threw 3 interceptions,
he's not going to throw 3 interceptions.
They would still win? You think they still win?
I don't know about that. I mean, I'm obviously a prediction like that, I'm not anticipating my man coming out here and throwing 3 picks. That would maybe alter the game.
It could happen. It's not unlikely.
I don't think it's going to happen. The Cardinals, outside of the Dallas game, have really just not played well. And we went through those games yesterday, and we talked about preceding that game and even after, they just have not played well. You give up 38 points to a listless Seattle team.
They were looking ahead. They didn't care. They didn't care to be there. Motivations weren't there.
You may very well be right. You may be right. FSU Syracuse, 3:00 tomorrow in the midst of all of this at the Carrier Dome in Syracuse. What a dump. Televised on ESPN. It is. The Carrier Dome is a dump. Syracuse leads the all-time series. You know what the numbers are?
19-10.
8-5. They haven't played that much.
Yeah.
They're 5-4. Syracuse is since joining the ACC. So we got a chance to even it up as ACC members. Come on now. 3-2 versus Syracuse at the TLC-CC is what we are. We're just 1-3 in the Carrier Dome, where they say the sight lines are awful. And you couple that with that funky matchup zone they play, and it's a struggle bus to shoot.
Well, that's like anything, with a Final Four matchup. You play in a dome, it's usually reserved for football. It's weird. It's awkward. I remember the first college basketball game I ever went to was Georgetown against somebody playing at the Thunderdome, the Trop. My uncle was down because they were playing in some kind of preseason tournament or I don't know what.
I remember this.
Yes. Yeah, I was there. Were you there?
I remember this. I think I was there.
Yeah.
I think so.
Since my uncle was the AD, we had seats. And I remember I was maybe 3 or 4. I mean, this was early 90s. And I just remember we have photos of it. Oh, disgusting. What are you even there for?
No, it's not good.
To watch ants play?
Yeah, that's the problem. Like in some of the venues when you go to a Final Four, you got people out in the raft. I'm like, what are we doing here? No, that's not basketball, man. That's not intimate. You need to be up close and personal and see that athleticism and elite teams like that. You don't want to be looking at the Jumbotron.
That's where Jerry's World would be okay. You want to be in the building, part of the festivities. Of course, you'd want better seats, but at least you have a really good TV and you could watch the court if you want to. But I mean, that's got to be a cool atmosphere to take in. A Final Four atmosphere? Never been to one.
I've got to tell you, we've been able to check a lot of boxes and say, Stanley Cup Finals, Super Bowl, World Series, countless national championship games. I've done all those things. I have not done a Final Four.
This is the year.
Well,
this team's taking us there.
What makes me mad is we would have. If we had not got robbed by the COVID year, I think that was the team that was going to the Final Four.
Yeah, you were going to win in Tampa and be in the Sweet 16. Then it was a matter. You would win the one Sweet 16 game, absolutely. The Elite Eight. That's it.
That's what you don't know.
It's the only hurdle.
By the way, the last time we played Syracuse, Caleb Mills had 16 points. Malik Osborne, by the way, was a double-digit scorer in that game as well. What a weird year for Caleb Mills, man. He is feast or famine. It is a roller coaster. FSU, since losing the game to Syracuse at 3-1 in ACC play, we won at NC State. That was important. We won at home, obviously, against Louisville because that's what the hell we do. And we beat Miami. Now, we did have sandwiched in there a thorough ass beating at the hands of Wake Forest, in which we lost by 22. Now, Syracuse, since winning the game here at the TLC Double C of all things, has done the opposite. They have gone 1-3 in the ACC with close losses to Virginia in what counts as a wild shootout between these two, 74-69.
Whoa.
They lost at Miami in what was a great game, and I watched it, 88-87. Did you watch any of that? It was a great game.
No.
Well, you should have. And then they lost in overtime at Wake Forest, 77-74. So some tough luck losses in there against two good teams. That's a toughie.
I'm setting the over-under for Caleb Mills at 21.5 points, and that's the threshold to win. He needs to go over the 21.5.
Well, do you think so?
Yes.
Or could it just be the Matthew Cleveland show?
No, Caleb's got to be a part of this thing. We got to shoot our way out of that zone. Well, they're not going to break the zone and stop playing zone, but you got to shoot over the zone, and we need Caleb Mills to be a big part of that. I don't know that Cleveland's going to go 4 for 6 from 3. If he does, then I'm sorry. I'll eat my words.
He's been hitting some big threes lately, Tom. Followed by a single win over Syracuse, that is, over Pitt at home this past Tuesday. They split 4 non-conference games. I'm giving you the vibe. What is Syracuse doing as they get set to host Florida State? Well, I'll tell you what they're doing. They're not winning games like we are. So this is good. We got opposite directions going here. Let's keep that rolling. Buddy Boeheim is still on that team. And if you recall, I was not at this game. I did not go to the Syracuse-Florida State game. I was out of town. And all I did was listen to the collapse and call you and say, what the hell's going on? And you said, well, they fell to pieces in the second half. They blew a big lead. They just couldn't score. But here's why I bring it up. I hate watching Syracuse play, and I really hate watching Buddy Boeheim. And I had hoped that after 9 years of starting for Syracuse, he had moved on, but he has not moved on. In fact, not only has he not moved on, he's really having a fantastic season.
And there's another Boeheim on the team, Jimmy Boeheim.
Yeah.
College basketball will be better when the Boeheims are out of it.
Good Christ.
Wouldn't we all agree?
Although we got to give Jim credit, because he did throw down on the ACC.
The enemy of my enemy is my friend. He used that Big East elitism that he still has up his nose, right? And they all have it, the Big East teams, this elitism.
It made me laugh, though. That was funny. He all but called
Greensboro.
Yeah, he all but called Greensboro a cow town. I mean, that was funny. I don't know why we have this thing here.
I'm not a fan of you, but you're not wrong about that, sir. You are correct.
And you're really turning the knife. You're all in on this shot taking. We could just play this thing in New York City like grown-ups instead of hearing.
And then 30 seconds later, he does what they all do, which is just stick with it. He goes, now, I'm not denigrating anything
No, you have to be unwavering.
You only burn down the Chamber of Commerce, sir.
I like it if you do it. You got to stay with it. Don't back up off of it. You got to stay with it. Keep rolling. Further infuriate. Jeff Cameron Show 93.3 Real Talk Radio, Warchant TV.
This is Dr. James Ryan Finn with Finn Chiropractic, encouraging you to unmask the cause of your problem. People mask problems with medicine, even with stretching or massage. But if the cause of your problem is pressure on your nerve, you need to unmask that cause. That's what we do at Finn Chiropractic. So if you or a loved one are having neck pain, back pain, or headaches, come in, get the Phenomenal Health exam, and let us unmask the cause of your problem. Remember, chiropractor loves you, and there's nothing you can do about it.
Our friends at ISF want to wish you a very happy new year. Listen, you want to do amazing things. You have big visions and goals for the future, and you work hard to move your agency forward while navigating the unique challenges inherent in government operations. ISF understands. They're a national management and IT consulting firm serving clients across the country. As we turn the page to another year, ISF reminds you to think big and stay focused on your goals for the future. ISF, your vision, our expertise, solving the future. Visit ISF.com to learn more.
When you need a plumber quick, how long is an acceptable time to have to wait?
Yeah, hey, it's the Millers again. Just calling you about our little plumbing problem.
2 hours?
Hey, we were hoping you can get here soon because the water is getting really bad. I mean, please hurry.
4 hours?
I know you said you were on your way, but, honey, tell the kids to drink water.
8 hours?
Don't worry about us. We're fine.
At M&L Plumbing, you'll never have to wait long for quality, dependable service right when you need it. At M&L Plumbing, we listen to our customers, and our qualified technicians aim to achieve 100% customer satisfaction. So the next time you need plumbing work or repairs, think of the name M&L Plumbing, your local plumbing experts, commercial or residential. Give us a call, 850-575-9393, or visit us online at mnlplumbing.com. M&L Plumbing, for all of your plumbing needs.
Siri, tell me a joke.
The past, present, and future walk into a bar. It was tense.
All jokes aside, the trained professionals at Mac & More Systems are serious about Apple products. For all your Mac repairs, call Mac & More Systems at 894-3622. 894-3622.
Applications, onboarding, payroll, termination. Business owners and managers, you know these are the processes that take away too much time from what you do best. But what if there was a locally owned, responsive solution that would charge you a fraction of the big national payroll companies? Sound too good to be true? It's not. North Florida Payroll Services is Tallahassee owned for nearly 15 years. And in that time, their prices have never changed. The reason North Florida Payroll Services can do that? Exceptional customer service that constantly evolves with the latest technology. From application to termination, for turnkey service for your payroll and HR services, trust a Tallahassee expert and save yourself time and money. North Florida Payroll Services. Online at northfloridapayroll.com.
For over 5 years now, McGowan's Hops and Grapes out in Bannerman Crossing has shown us not only what excellent service is, but what excellent food is. They've got their bacon flights, they have their shareables, they have their BLTs. Yes, I said BBLT, I didn't stutter. They also have a tremendous draft beer selection and a fantastic wine selection that the owners pick out personally. McGowan's Hops and Grapes is the place to go. Great food and great people. Go visit them today out in Bannerman Crossing in Northeast Tallahassee.
We all want more energy, more strength, more results. Well, welcome to Orange Theory Fitness as you take a step towards feeling more alive today. Backed by science, Orange Theory's heart rate monitored workout is scientifically designed to keep heart rates in a target zone, spiking metabolism and increasing energy. Orange Theory Fitness is a one-of-a-kind group personal training workout resulting in more energy, visible toning, and extra calorie burn for up to 36 hours. Experience a more vibrant life today with Orange Theory Fitness. To find out more, go to orangetheoryfitness.com.
The Jeff Cameron Show, brought to you by Orange Theory Fitness. 2 Tallahassee locations, Midtown on Thomasville Road and Northside in the Village Common Shopping Center. Online at orangetheoryfitness.com.
And Burrow was just 20 of 29 for 148 yards. Joe Mixon had a big day on the ground, 2 touchdowns, rushed for 123 yards. The key to the Raiders combating this bold prediction by yours truly is to get pressure on the passer. They did do that. They sacked Burrow 3 times in the first matchup. And if you have a concern about the Bengals, it begins and ends typically with their offensive line. So fair enough. You would give them an opportunity here because if they can get to Joe, obviously they can offset what they're lacking at the back end of that defense. And that is what will get exposed if he has time. Now, the Bengals are 30th in the season in terms of pass blocking win rate. Max Crosby is 8th in pass rush win rate. That's a problem. You're going to have to chip. You're going to have to do those sorts of things. So there is a path for the Raiders, but that's true of playoff games in general. There's a path for the Eagles. There's a path for the Patriots. We can do this. There aren't too many games where you or I are going to look at a game and say there's no path. I'll name one. There's no path for the Steelers to beat Kansas City. But every other one of these games, there's a path.
It's the card path to the first tee. That's the path.
Yeah. They just got to delay their first tee time with a year a little longer. But, I would – that really is significant. The defensive pass rush against a bad offensive line is a significant factor. So there is a real clear path for the Raiders. But I do think the Bengals will chip Crosby, and I think that they'll obviously give Joe enough time to exploit a secondary that is easily exploited. So should be a fun game, but I think at the end of the day, I'm taking the Bengals to win and cover that line. Feeling good about it, in fact.
Winning.
Emboldened.
Okay, without a teaser. So just
don't need
you
to
like
tease
the number.
Nothing. I just like the number.
So you're going to play it?
Yeah.
It's on the card.
It's going to be on the card. Yeah, I'm going to play it. Yeah, I'm definitely going to play it. By the way, I did not realize. I go back to when Derek Carr missed the Raiders' first playoff game since 2002 when he broke his leg in 2016. They had gone 14 years without going to the playoffs at that time. Sweet Jesus.
I remember that storyline because neither of us had made it back. They talked about how both the Pirate franchises never made it back since the Super Bowl.
I like that guy. I really do. I've grown to like him. I think he's just a tough hombre. He's just tough. There's flaws in his game, but he is tough, and he's got enough skill.
He's got a lot to deal with. A lot to deal with in his, what is it, a 5-year career now? 6-year at most? There's a lot that's gone on in that career.
6 or 7.
Between, philosophy changes, injuries. He was the toast of the town. That offensive line, when he first came into the league, was outside of the Cowboys, was the best offensive line in football. Then they're terrible at blocking. And now John Gruden this year, they moved to Vegas.
And Gruden never loved him. There was always just this sort of roller coaster.
The Antonio Brown issue. Yeah. Jesus.
33-21 is what the Bills did when they went on the road in Foxborough to beat the Patriots. And, of course, we remember the 14-10 loss in which there were 40-mile-per-hour winds in crazy inclement weather. So a lot of people will look at this game and say, once again, it's a weather game. But if you don't have 40-mile-per-hour winds, it's much more about who the two teams are. Yeah, cold's cold, but they'll live with that. It's the winds that are the problem. When you take away that game, you really couldn't throw a forward pass. So it was fairly absurd. I think here you'll get a more balanced game, and that favors Buffalo, who obviously kind of undressed New England in that road victory.
Yeah, I think what happens in this game is Bill will take away Diggs, because what Belichick does is he takes away your biggest threat, and he always is successful at that. But this will test the theory. Like, at what temperature, wind or not, is the passing game affected? Because the conventional wisdom is once you get inside about 8 to 10 degrees and you get colder than that, even if it isn't too windy, you're going to affect the integrity of being able to drop back and throw the football.
Well, you can get some weird results at some point. If it's 6 degrees, you may see a fumble here or there caused specifically by the cold or something like that. But I still think it plays out like a more traditional football game if you're just dealing with cold. If you're dealing with cold and wind, we got real problems, but the wind isn't supposed to be too bad there. I was reading something today where a unnamed scout, was profiling that particular matchup. And he said, listen, very quietly, it hasn't been talked about because he's had a good season, and especially since it's his rookie season. But if you go back over the last 3 weeks, Mac Jones is trending downward. And it's not because he's not going to be a good player, the scout says. It's because, it's his first season as a starter in the NFL. This is more games than he's ever had to play, and probably taken more punishment than he's ever had to take. At some point, it wears on you mentally and physically as a rookie. And also, because they're not explosive, teams have kind of figured out to sit down on the intermediate.
Well, yeah, it's a cliche 2-word term, rookie wall. And Damian Harris is also banged up this week, too. It's a hamstring issue, I think. They believe he's going to play, but there might be some, carries that he won't get. And he's been a really good player for them the last month. That's the key for me, is how healthy is he and how healthy does he look? And does the cold affect that in some way?
I thought it was interesting that Buffalo in the rematch, this from the same scout, the Bills used 5 defensive backs, a league high 91% of the time of their snaps. But when they played New England in the rematch, 42% of the time. We don't need we don't need an extra defense back here.
Yeah, prove it.
Yeah, prove it is right. So that's kind of fascinating, I think. So we'll see. Josh Allen is a physical freak. We sometimes forget just how big and strong, relatively fast that guy is for his size. I think that's the math problem. That's what they'll utilize here. I'd run him to death in this game. I really would. And listen, he was the runner-up MVP in 2020. It's not like he can't play. So I'd utilize his legs here.
Oh, a ton. That wasn't the other number we talked about yesterday. I think it was 33 or 34 and a half rushing yards is the over-under for Josh Allen. One would think if the game plays out as it should in the cold weather, he would be a huge part of it in all facets of the game. And you saw it in the Tampa Bay matchup where it was 24-3 at half. They flipped the script, 24-3 to tie to go to overtime. What did a lot of that for Buffalo? Josh Allen running. Josh Allen running the football. And they had all kinds of gadgets ready for that.
All right, so I asked you in Tampa, in a game you can hear right here on 93.3 Real Talk Radio, and, of course, is first up, much to my cohort's chagrin, at 1 o'clock on Sunday as you're in the air. But couple questions. Are the Bucs healthy enough to stop the run defensively? Because they haven't been over the last 4 to 5 weeks. If they are, this is a no contest. But they may not be. They legitimately may not be. Because even the guys that they're getting back are coming back hampered and slowly emerging as being able or ready to play, if you will, quote unquote. I mean, Shaq Barrett is still not right. It looks like he's going to play, but they're not real sure how good he'll be. Lavonte David, if you're reading between the lines with Arians, doesn't sound like a guy that's going to play, even though he is eligible to play. And that's huge because without him, Devin White has looked terrible. He's looked lost. And there is a thought that he's been dealing with something as well. But I actually think what he's dealing with has a lot more to do with overrunning plays and trying to do too much. And that would probably stem from having a lot of superstar players around you out. I mean, all year long, JPP has largely been out. He's physically been out for all 3 of the last 3 games. He'll be back, but he hasn't been effective in any way. Just north of 30 tackles on the year, 2 sacks, ain't getting it done. Now, he's scheduled to come back. Let's hope he can hold down and set the edge against the run. I don't think he's going to be able to get after the passer. Maybe I'm wrong. I hope I am. But with Lavonte David, if he doesn't play or if he's not 100%, and if you have a JPP who still requires surgery on the shoulder, and Shaq Barrett is hampered, Nelson, ankle injury, and he's played well since he's been out there. I mean, this just goes on and on and on for Tampa Bay defensively. And if those guys aren't right, yeah, then maybe the Eagles can run the ball. And if they can run the ball, they can shorten the game and they can keep Tom Brady off the field. If that's not the case, the Eagles will get blown out because they don't cover the middle of the field well at all. They don't get after the passer well at all. The Bucs have the best offensive line in football, in particular in the passing game. So if I'm going to make the argument for Tampa, you could lay it out pretty easily right there. If I'm going to make the argument for the Eagles, it's that they have to keep the ball out of Tom's hands and run it, and run it some more. And they may just be able to do it because the Bucs may not be right defensively.
Yeah, looking at the injury report, and we don't have one for today yet. That's going to be released, I don't know, anytime. The Bucs are inconsistent with that day to day. But you're looking at Philadelphia's list, and it's a long list for Philadelphia. It's probably 10, 12 people long. Most of them are limited participation or full participation. In Tampa, it's mostly limited, out, did not participate. The Bucs are just flatly more banged up, and not on that list for the Buccaneers this week is Lavonte David or Shaq Barrett or Leonard Fournette because they were coming off of IR, designated to return within 21 days. So they could all, in theory, sit out this weekend. It sounds like Fournette's going to go and Barrett's going to go. For me, what's interesting is, all right, you get Shaq Barrett back. Let's just say he plays. JPP is definitely going to. You get Anthony Nelson back. How much do you really want to pin your ears back and go after the passer against Jalen Hurts? Or would you rather
I want him to throw the
keep
ball.
Contain and run
keep contain and let him throw the ball.
Right. Well, but that goes against the nature of what the Bucs do, which is they love to bring 5 and 6 all the damn time. And you might create running lanes for Jalen Hurts if you're not careful. So that's the game within the game for me is how Todd Bowles deploys the front 7. How often does he allow for the problems in the defensive backfield and or the second level with running lanes if he's able to get around the first player? Are there broken plays where he goes for 15 or 20 yards? Or do you stay conservative, which I think should be the game plan, and make them prove that they can run the ball on you 10 to 12 times or 10 times out of a 12-play drive, something along those lines. If they can do that, well, then they might very well win the football game, but they have to do it to even have a chance to win the football game.
What's frustrating is that these things, and not to disregard your point because I think it's accurate, but these things seem to be self-evident for the Bucs, and yet time and again they get out-leveraged and flanked, and it's frustrating. That's specifically due to injury. I mean, those guys they have not been able to win those matchups. And, if they can't again, the Eagles have committed basically in the first game against Tampa to what they became, which is a team that wants to run the hell out of the ball. They don't want to put pressure on Jalen Hurts to try to win it. They're not explosive. They can beat you up, and then they're going to keep it in front of them on defense. So you know what you're getting Todd Bowles surely will dial back the pressures in this situation. Let Jalen Hurts have to throw the ball from the pocket consistently. Good luck.
There are times when it feels like we have a game in control, and you just see like 6 and 7. I'm like,
Todd, baby.
But that's he and Bruce. They want to keep swinging and throwing haymakers, and it's Clubber Lang and Rocky 3. Easy. You could have retained the title. Just stop throwing punches.
It's Jeff Cameron Show, 93.3 Real Talk Radio, Warchant TV.
A Lincoln High School student was detained after fighting another student off campus. The fight and following detainment triggered a lockdown for the school Thursday afternoon. The incident happened around 12:20 p.m. No weapons were involved and no injuries were reported after the fight. LHS sent emails at 12:40 and 1:21 to parents regarding the lockout Wednesday afternoon, stating that school was closed to visitors. All students and staff were safe in their classrooms. The Florida Lottery has announced a Tallahassee man has won the $13.75 million Florida Lotto jackpot from a drawing held on January 5th. The lottery says 62-year-old Yehuda Yisrael won the ticket and opted to receive his winnings as a one-time lump sum of $10,400,043.67. Yisrael purchased his winning ticket from the Publix located on 7 Mile Drive in Wildwood, Florida. In Sumter County, the store will receive a bonus commission of $100,000. This is Rachel Lene with your Real Talk 93.3 local news update. Brought to you by McKenzie Systems, Tallahassee's go-to Mac store. Check them out online at McKenzie.com.
This is meteorologist Paul Trombley with your Real Talk 93.3 weather update. Clear skies and quiet this afternoon with a high of 64. Northwest winds 5 to 10 miles per hour. Lows around 43 tonight, partly cloudy. Chance for scattered thunderstorms tomorrow. Daytime highs approaching 66, partly cloudy skies. Much cooler Sunday and Monday with highs in the low 50s. Chance for scattered storms Sunday. This report is brought to you by the Lawn Johns. For all your landscaping and lawn care needs, visit thelawnjohns.com. Right now, 61.
See Nice Tire and Auto Service at 4792 Bluntstown Highway today. The ASE trained technicians at Nice take the guesswork out of fixing your car. That's why wherever you see the Goodyear sign, you'll find what you want in tires and service. From preventative maintenance to a major overhaul and everything in between, you name it. Plus, Nice's services are backed by a nationwide limited warranty. Stop by Nice Tire and Auto Service. 4792 Bluntstown Highway, just west of Capitol Circle.
If you weren't the owner of Gordo's and all those wonderful restaurants, Eddie, what would you be doing?
You know, I think I'd want to be I don't know what I'd want to be. A boat captain or a cowboy.
You know how to use a lasso?
No.
You'd have to do that if you were a cowboy.
Yeah, but I've never even been on a horse. It's not my place to be on a horse.
I agree. And the horse things you. Gordo's, bringing the flavor and flair of Cuban food to Tallahassee since 1996.
Here's what you missed on the Greg Tish Show.
A woman only identified as Mrs. Wong posted on Chinese social media. She had gotten locked down after a first blind date. She discovered that their date's community had gone into swift lockdown after visiting his house for a meal.
This absolutely has to become a romantic comedy. Lockdown Love. He was looking for Mrs. Right, but he found Mrs. Wong.
Lockdown. Starring Matthew McConaughey. All right.
The Greg Tish Show, Monday through Friday, 6 to 9 a.m., only on Real Talk 93.3. Cameron Show is a production of the Warchant.com Multimedia Network. Check out Warchant.com today for the latest news inside Florida State athletics. That's Warchant.com. Now, back to Jeff on Real Talk 93.3.
Oh, well, not the picture on the actual video, but I'm just saying looking into your studio from my studio looked about the same as it did yesterday. But yeah.
I don't know if the camera has a problem or whatever. Thanks, guys. I appreciate your concern. I know you want to see me as I'm traditionally presented.
That's right. No whitewashing this man.
Oh, man. You have any type of plan for long-term care for you or your loved ones? Well, do you? Think about these things. 3 main questions that our friends at Preservation Financial Group like to ask when discussing long-term care. First question, if you were sick tomorrow and were to need long-term care, Where do you want to receive your care? Most people would say at home, right? Second question, which asset will you liquidate first to pay for said care? Most people would say, I got an IRA. A little bit of a nest egg, perhaps. Third question is, if there was a better way to use the IRA or nest egg to pay for the long-term care, is this something you should take a look at? Pick up the phone today and call or text Pete Tyson, 850-523-6118, 523-6118. Ask Pete. He'll give you a free book that he co-authored. He knows a little something. He co-wrote the book. Tax-free money for long-term care. There's no cost or obligation. Call Pete Tyson today, 523-6118. There you go. Jeff, you went from sultry talk by the fire to too damn bright. I know.
Well, do you want the bright background and you can see his beautiful mug?
No.
Or do you want the dark background and he's like
I feel
blotchy?
like Corey Clark obsessing about the way I look in camera here because people have brought it up. It's ridiculous.
Life Spectator with the spray tan. He should go to Dabo's guy. There's nobody better than Dabo. He clearly uses what the senators use in Washington.
You know what's funny about that is that I never noticed it, and then you just said it right now, and it occurs to me you're 100% correct. I just never really noticed.
Oh, well,
it's the Omni Tan.
It's because of the ACC kickoff. That's when he gets the spray tan done. It's just before ACC kickoff, and he's in rare form at that point. But it looks like going to a wedding, like a northern wedding, and all your family went to go get spray tans or whatever. You're like, oh man, I can smell the oil in here. It's gross.
Did you see, and Tom Pelissaro documented it yesterday amongst others, but what a kiss my ass on Main Street moment that occurred in the NFL yesterday. David Culley got fired, and we didn't get the chance to bring it up. They owe him another $17 million over the next 3 years, so he will walk away, as of yesterday, with $22 million for coaching as a head coach with the Texans 1 year. Buddy, for the amount of hours that football coaches have to put in, right, to rise through the ranks. We talk about this all the time. These guys, there are stretches of time where they're working 19, 20-hour days every day, all day, Monday through Sunday. I mean, it just doesn't stop. The recruiting cycle these days, above and beyond recruiting an actual player from high school, you've got the transfer portal, you're re-recruiting your own roster, and then never mind game planning and everything else that goes on, right? Now, cry me a river, you say. Guys making $5, $6, $7, some cases $11 million a year. Got to buck up, soldier. People don't throw around millions of dollars a year so that you can chill at the house on the couch. Got it. But you, in essence, have no life whatsoever as a football coach. And in the spaces in which you do are very limited anymore. And I remember talking to a coach about this, and he was saying that he loves the game. He was a really good player here at Florida State, this coach. And he has been in the coaching business ever since he left being a player. And he said, my whole life has been the game of football. I've got an undying passion for it. But there are times where I seriously doubt I can be in this sport much longer because I have a wife and I have kids and I'd like to see them. I'm going to wake up one day and my children are going to be going to college and I will have never known them. And that's a toughie.
That's an interesting decision to have kids in that circumstance too.
It's really difficult.
And I don't mean that to disrespect. I'm saying you've got to really talk out what your plan is.
Correct.
And that's why football or coaches' wives are a special, amazing group of people. It's like the wife of an Army, lieutenant or whatever, somebody who gets moved around and you have the brats underneath, but you have to understand that this household is going to be run, cleaned, organized, fed, and everything. All the infrastructure is mom. All of it is all on mom. That's such an odd, but I mean, really, in its own way, cool relationship.
No, I think it's a terrible relationship. I don't know how anybody does it. I think it's I mean, I'm not saying that there are people that can't do it or that it's impossible, but I don't know how they do it. I don't think that's any way to be.
You think it's terrible?
I think it's terrible. I would never do that. But I'm not telling somebody else what to do. I'm just telling you, I would never do that.
The wife in that equation might be like, good, get out of my hair.
Well, then you shouldn't be married because mean,
Okay.
think
Pastor Cameron.
No, I'm just telling you, think about it. You're married. You're happily married. You like spending time with your wife. It's as simple as that.
I understand that, but people are wired differently.
I'm not telling people what to do. I said I would never do it. I think it's terrible. I'm not telling you that they're terrible people. I'm saying that what's the point? To your point, you just alluded to it. If you have kids and you're never home to see them and raise them, that would suck. In my opinion, that would suck. It's a sacrifice. People do it. They find a way. They're not bad people. I would find that to be abhorrent. I would hate it. I'm not obsessed with being around my family. I get out and about. You know that. I think you have to find a life balance. Very difficult. We work unique hours. Hell, I'm doing a golf show till 11 o'clock at night on a Wednesday. I mean, I did a weird thing.
That's happening, huh?
Well, it's happened. I mean, I've had to do that.
Already?
No, I'm saying that show's not from 10 to 11, but the show is 9 to 10.
Right.
We have post-show meetings, and then oftentimes we'll end up we'll talk shop, and then you come down. You know how it is when you're wired, and then you drive home. And
there's no way to go to bed after
right.
Show. There's
so
no way.
I get it. Everybody's got what they got to do. I'm just saying, when I think about, listen, there's a high rate of divorce amongst football coaches. It's not shocking. It's not shocking. How would there not be? You're never freaking home. You're never home. At some point, the marriage is going to suffer. One would think. Again, somehow people find a way. But, man, that ain't good.
You would have been a great marriage counselor in a different life. If the dominoes fell through. Well, what do you think? You're never home,
You're
Jim.
never home, Jim. Yes, she's lonely. What do you think's going to happen? You haven't been home in 10 days. And that's like just a stretch. Then you're home for a day, and then she doesn't see you again for 6 days. I mean, come on,
Oh,
Jim.
because you think you're going to land Julio Jones. He's going to Alabama, Jim. Come home. Go home to your wife.
Yeah, so long story short, anyhow, I want to circle back here that because those sacrifices have to be made for somebody to make it in the college football, pro football world, right? And this is where I came up with Kiss My Ass on Main Street all those years ago, that the best thing about kicking down that door and making it after being a freaking GA, which would suck to no end, and then being a low-level assistant when you're finally hired and you're making pennies and you're working 20 hours a day, and then even still, when you finally climb the ladder and then maybe you're to a place where you're, I mean, not quite a coordinator, but you're getting there. You're doing this. Obviously, you love the sport. You're passionate about the sport, and you love being around the kids. You love being around the guys. If it's professional football, you love the camaraderie. There is something to be gained there. It is special. I've coached junior football, but I played. I love the game. I love the guys. The only thing you miss when you leave football is the locker room. You miss those relationships, the shared experiences, the work, and all that. Preston, I'll read it in a second. If you can get to a place where eventually you have the opportunity to become a head coach and you sign a multi-year deal and they end up saying, all right, here's the deal. It's $20 million over so many years. And obviously these days, agents everywhere have figured out the deal. They've got these universities and in some cases professional franchises been over a barrel, and they somehow get them to acquiesce to what I think are absurd terms, that lean really far one way towards the coach and the agent. Fire me after 1 year. Please end this never-ending cycle of lonely and give me $30 million to go sit on a beach with the family I've ignored for 20 years. How about that?
But again, it's a non-starter. You're not going to get to that level unless you are consumed by either the pursuit of championships or saving, 18-year-olds that need direction.
Well,
you don't get to that place as a normal adjusted human being. You don't get there.
The only thing I would say is I think the money's so great now, we've seen with a little bit more regularity, that some guys do get fired and they're 46 and they never comb the sidelines again, buddy. And that's the kiss my ass on Main Street moment. how glorious it would be to be told to walk in, and especially the Texans. I mean, good God, you got nothing to work with right now. You're not going to have a quarterback anytime soon. This is a nightmare.
That's a crazy firing. They said because of offensive philosophical differences, they fired him.
Yeah, no, that's not right.
That team was more competitive this year than it had any right to be.
David Culley's going to get $22 million. Good for you, David Culley. Call it a day. Run for the hills.
Well, he's like 70-something anyway.
Well, I know. But go live out the remaining 5 to 6 years you have left,
I was
David.
going to say he's about to call it a day for real.
Yes. But with $22 million, it could be a fun 5 to 6. I mean, you could fly all over the world. Don't save anything for later. Your kids are probably in their 60s or their early 50s. Go take it down the road, David.
Isn't that a negotiating tactic if you've got an older coach? Like, you're 68. What do you need this money for anyway? You know, we're offering you $2 million. That's a lot. You're 68 years old.
Because I'm going to go on a bender to end all benders when they tell me I have early onset Alzheimer's. I'm taking it to Mexico, and you'll never hear from me again until you find me in that hotel room with the $20-some-odd million and the 5 weeks of crazy times that I had preceding the moment you found me.
That supersedes anything the Brewster's Millions did.
That's a fun topic. Hour 2 forthcoming. Stay with.
Stuck in an expensive timeshare contract and feel like there's no way out?
I'm almost at $10,000 in 4 years. I've never traveled anywhere.
They made this sound that this would be a really good deal, that I could go anywhere, anytime I wanted to. That never worked out.
I'm Chuck McDowell, CEO of Wesley Financial Group. I've helped thousands of people get rid of their timeshares. I know all the tricks because I'm embarrassed to say I once worked in the timeshare industry. We've saved suffering timeshare owners millions in debt and maintenance fees. When you're approved as a client, I guarantee you a 100% success rate. We'll get you out of your timeshare, eliminate your payments, and get them off of your back permanently.
I honestly would recommend that you call Wesley Financial. They will help you.
Call Wesley Financial Group now for your free information kit. If they can't get you out of your timeshare, you'll pay nothing. Call 800-600-9595. 800-600-9595. That's 800-600-9595.
That is the smell of amazing barbecue from Highway 27 Grill and Barbecue. There's only one thing that could possibly make Kenny's Amazing Barbecue better, and that's an ice-cold adult beverage. Now you can do just that. Pair an ice-cold beer with all your Highway 27 Grill and Barbecue favorites. Highway 27 Grill and Barbecue, 1 mile north of Havana. Get your fill at the grill.
I call Swain Pools and Spas. Now I'm soaking up the fun when I want to.
I call Tallahassee Car Care and they're fixing my car when I want to.
Hey, what are you doing? This is a Swain Pools and Spas commercial.
I'm turning it into a Tallahassee Car Care commercial.
But Swain Pools and Spas is a full-service shop offering sales, renovation, supplies, and more for years.
And Tallahassee Car Care is a full-service shop offering brake and tire service, batteries, oil changes, and more for years.
But people go to Swain Pools for quality and reliability. Nobody knows more about pools and spas, and Swain has new Caldera spas in stock right now.
And people go to Tallahassee Car Care for their 5-star service at great prices, with most maintenance done by their certified technicians while you wait.
You know what? Just look for the big Swain sign on West Tharp Street, because Swain Pools and Tallahassee Car Care are under the same roof. Online at SwainPools.com.
Online at TallahasseeCarCare.com.
Swain Pools and Spas.
There's fun to be had every night at the Corner Pocket. Take home prizes on Trivia Tuesdays and Beer Bingo Thursdays. And kickstart your weekend with Martini Fridays. Plus, happy hour runs every weekday and game day specials every time the Noles take the field. Watch all the best games at the Corner Pocket's Vegas Wall, featuring 560 inches of flat screen TV heaven.
Oh, really?
The best food, the best drinks, and the best place to watch all the games. Tallahassee loves the Corner Pocket.
Coming up next, more of the Jeff Cameron Show. Live and local on Real Talk 93.3. WVFT, Greta, Tallahassee.
Breaking news this hour from townhall.com. I'm John Scott.
Millions of Americans are in the path of a big snowstorm.
This storm is targeting the Midwest, the South, and the East Coast. Depending upon where you are, you may get heavy snow or freezing rain. The National Weather Service's Bob Oravec.
At least for the first 24 hours, a band of heavy snow across parts of southwestern Minnesota, across Iowa. So some pretty big totals, 6 to 12 inches across there. Then the storm's going to be pressing farther to the south, and then it'll be eventually turning up the East Coast.
And it'll be bitterly cold across the Northeast through tonight, says the Weather Service, which is also warning that travel could be hazardous in many places because of the snow and ice. I'm Rita Foley.
The Transportation Department launching a $27.5 billion program to repair and upgrade U.S. bridges. President Biden speaking earlier from the White House.
These are the bridges that are often overlooked when decisions are being made, but they are essential for small towns, rural towns, farmers to get their products to market, small businesses to be able to serve customers.
The program is expected to help repair roughly 15,000 highway bridges. Also at townhall.com, a new poll shows President Biden's approval ratings continue to decline.
The Rasmussen Report's daily presidential tracking poll for Friday shows that 38% of likely U.S. voters approve of President Biden's job performance, 60% disapprove. The latest figures include 18% who strongly approve of the job Mr. Biden is doing and 49% who strongly disapprove. That gives him a presidential approval rating of minus 31.
That's correspondent Bernie Bennett. U.S. industrial production fell 0.1% in December, the first decline since September. Weakness in factory output showing that manufacturers are still struggling with snarled supply chains. On Wall Street, the Dow is down 356 points. More at townhall.com.
When was the last time you watched your home movies? If you're like most, there's a box in your closet of videotapes, film reels, and photos that don't get watched. Worse, they're degrading. Hi, I'm Nick.
And I'm Adam. 10 years ago, we started Legacy Box to help families convert their aging media to digital. Here's how it works. Fill Legacy Box with your camcorder tapes, film reels, and photos. We professionally digitize and send them back on DVDs, thumb drives, or the cloud, ready to watch and share.
Legacy Box is the world's largest, most trusted home movie and photo digitizer. Over 450,000 families have used Legacy Box, and we've been featured on Good Morning America, Rachel Ray, and The Today Show.
Dust off those recorded moments and preserve your family's history so it can be easily passed down for generations. Experience peace of mind and enjoy reliving the glory days.
Order your Legacy Box today. Visit legacybox.com/LBOX for a limited time to get 40% off your order. That's legacybox.com/LBOX for 40% off. legacybox.com/LBOX.
Just ask your doctor. The vaccines are our best defense against COVID. If you're 12 or older and you've already gotten yours, now you can give yourself a boost with a COVID booster. It makes the protection you already have even stronger. We can do this. Find boosters near you at vaccines.gov, paid for by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services.
Clean, renewable energy means fresher air, healthier residents, new green jobs, and a stronger, more resilient community. How we get there is up to you. Share your input today to help shape the Tallahassee of tomorrow. Take the Clean Energy Survey at talgov.com.
We all want more energy, more strength, more results. Well, welcome to Orange Theory Fitness as you take a step towards feeling more alive today. Backed by science, Orange Theory's heart rate monitored workout is scientifically designed to keep heart rates in a target zone, spiking metabolism and increasing energy. Orange Theory Fitness is a one-of-a-kind group personal training workout resulting in more energy, visible toning, and extra calorie burn for up to 36 hours. Experience a more vibrant life today with Orange Theory Fitness. To find out more, go to orangetheoryfitness.com.
Broadcasting live from Florida's capital city, this is the Jeff Cameron Show, brought to you by Orange Theory Fitness on Real Talk 93.3. Now, stop what you're doing and listen closely. It's time for the Jeff Cameron Show in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
You?
I don't know. I go into every one of our games knowing the flaws that we have and some of the things that we have to overcome. Also, some of the skill that we have and what we're seeing now in terms of the better effort on the defensive end. Believing that against the vast majority of a very average ACC, Florida State is a 50-50 proposition. I just kind of like, I know that in theory that's true anytime you tip off, but I feel like some matchups, obviously, you'd look at and you go, no, this is all wrong for us. Maybe we ain't going to win this game. We don't have the requisite size or whatever it might be, right? But others, a lot of the matchups in this league, given what this team is, you just kind of, I don't know. I go in with very minimal expectations, but it's not to the point where I go in saying, oh, we're going to lose this game. Like there are matchups, like the game against Duke, we're not beating Duke, not because they're Duke, but because their size. So there's going to be problems there, and when you look at certain teams, you go, oh no, like had we known just how far off we were in the paint, and we were already nervous about the matchup, even made mention of it, we might have stated emphatically that Florida State was in all likelihood going to be throttled by 40 against a Purdue. I mean, and really in reality,
didn't feel great about it.
No, we didn't feel good about it, but I don't even think we realized to the extent that we were going to have problems in the paint this year. We knew that was going to be a work in progress. Now they maybe help illuminate that a little bit, but that's a really good team. And when you look at that team now, you go, that was a 10-point game in the second half. I was actually kind of proud of us in retrospect because that matchup is all wrong for us.
Yeah, they kept fighting. They showed a lot of heart that night. And listen, I think they have that heart. I think they have the raw talent, but they're just so inexperienced. Saw graphics on KenPom about age versus experience. This Florida State basketball team is actually the oldest in the ACC, but they're the fourth youngest in terms of basketball court. So while in age they're the oldest, the experience is not there. And it feels that way. That's what you watch. You see stupid mistakes made all the time, but those are not mistakes made out of malice or a lack of caring. It's just, these are bigger moments. You're playing a bigger role.
Yeah.
All these kids, I mean, even the seniors or juniors have to play bigger roles than they've ever had to in their entire career. And that's what's going to happen. The thing for me is I don't feel great about it because of the zone. It's that simple on offense. I don't think we can execute to, score enough to win. Now, if we do, I will start to believe in dare to dream, tell the ding ding to go away in a way I haven't since Wake Forest. Well, before Wake Forest, really. You were so excited. I was wondering why you jumped out of your chair.
I was excited to hit the ding ding.
I don't believe in it yet. I don't believe in anything but the ding ding right now. But if
that's right, Tommy.
Yeah, that's right. That's true. Now, if you beat Syracuse tomorrow and you execute okay against the zone and you show growth from the first matchup to the rematch, all right. Now I start to buy it a little bit.
Well, I would agree with that. And I, too, am not overwhelmingly excited to tune in tomorrow at 3:00 as I kind of nervously watch because I want to take the next step. I want to be able to go, hey, now, you can, flaws and all, if you're going to rattle off to the tune of 4-1 since that embarrassing loss to okay.
There are some teams that are bad that you don't like. And there are some teams that are good that this is a group that it's not likable.
They're just lacking.
They're limited, and it's a bless their heart situation. But it could go from a bless their heart to look at them. I'd be more proud of these guys than a lot of teams we've had in the last handful of years because they shouldn't be here. They shouldn't be in the position. Let's get there. That would be a lot of fun. That would be a great ride to go on.
Yeah, and I often, because we really respect and admire the job the coaching staff does here at Florida State and that they've recruited a certain type of guy to Florida State. And by that, I mean talented, hardworking, and skilled, but also guys that buy in. They buy into the program's identity, and that's been firmly established. And those guys that come here are going to work hard, and they're going to abide by those very stringent rules that Leonard Hamilton puts down, and they're going to play team basketball, and they're going to agree to come off the bench, even if they're a first-round draft pick, and they're going to do those things. So they're eminently likable almost always. This group would be that and then some because of what they're missing, because of the effects of losing really talented guys to the NBA draft in the top 10. When you're losing multiple players over the course of 2 and 3 years to the first round of the draft, you're all at once celebrating the job the coaching staff has done to bring those type of players here and bring those type of players along. But also at some point, especially at Florida State, because we're not a basketball factory, you're going to end up having one of these kinds of years where you're just missing some things, and they are missing some things.
Yeah, I think there's a chance that in the final 2 weeks of the season, it turns into a group that you go, oh, man, let's go make a run in the ACC tournament. Let's make it interesting. Now, hopefully it doesn't come to that, but Leonard remarked on this last week. He was talking about how they haven't had a chance to practice as a whole group hardly at all since the season started for injury reasons to the roster or COVID reasons or whatever the reason. He said they only had 3 to 5 practices. This is as of last week, as a whole group since the regular season started. And for an inexperienced team, the only way to get better is to be able to rep it over and over and over again between games. And the problem is this upcoming week for us, we play 4 games in 7 days. You got your Saturday tomorrow, Tuesday against Duke, Thursday against UNF at noon, and then you play Miami the following Saturday.
Got to win this one, got to beat UNF.
Right. And then hope to steal one of the others. Yeah.
Well, probably a little 2-2 action over the 4, and then you'll.
This is a critical game.
Yeah, you get. Yeah, it's weird. Now you got me nervous. Now I'm sitting here thinking about what has to happen, which is they got to win tomorrow. They kind of have to win tomorrow, or you're going to get one win over the next 4, and it's going to be against UNF.
Well, on a lighter note, I think Steven raises a good point in the chat where he says there needs to be some smoke when you hit the ding. If we could find a small little smoke machine or a vapor machine that would show up on the camera, that would be amazing.
Just chilling.
He's smoking.
I would love to, Reagan. I hope for a choo-choo as well. Jeff and Tom, hope for another choo-choo on Saturday against the Cuse. But first, why the hell did the ACC block the playoff expansion? This could lead to a landscape where the ACC finds itself left out in the 2026 negotiations. FSU better have a backup plan, an exit plan. I don't know that they're going to be excluded from the 2026 negotiations, but I don't think it's going to get to that severity. I think they're holding out a bargaining chip, meaning expansion, for whatever leverage they can muster against the SEC and the Big Ten, who, I think at this point have really hold all the cards. The rest of, and the SEC in particular, holds all the cards.
Yeah, you're in the ACC, and we are. You're in a straitjacket. That's what it is. I mean, the financial gap is going to grow.
It already has.
And the Comcast deal's great, but I mean, that's worth 10 cents on the dollar compared to what these other conferences get.
And I just got done talking about basically if let's say you're one of these clowns who just, has a sworn allegiance to a conference. If you are, you're further emboldened by what you see in college football right now. If you are a fan of the SEC specifically, you are further emboldened. They've won 11 of the last 15, or is it 12 of the last 16 now, national championships. And their teams are getting better and better, and the gap is growing, and the amenities, the coaches' salaries, the size of the analyst pool, the ability to perhaps divvy up more for the NIL, all of that it's a one-sided affair right now.
Yeah, the Big Ten and the SEC, they don't want your socialism across Power 5. They're going to keep it for themselves, is what the free market dictated. That's where they want to go. Now, if you can find somebody, this is why I hope maybe Nick retires and Nick Saban could be the guy who could push for it. If you can find somebody to sell the idea that we're all going to be better off and we're all going to make a hell of a lot more money in the free market if we band together and we make this an interesting sport from coast to coast, that is for the better of everybody. If in the Pac-12 part of the country, well, there are a lot of big TV markets out there.
Huge.
If they care, it would be pretty good for us if they gave a damn. Right now, what are they playing for? Nothing.
Well, Southern Cal's about to really care, and they will be one of the lone representatives. Now, Oregon's got more money than they know what to do with, too, because of Phil Knight. Now, that would be interesting, too, to see just how far they go. But they're always going to have a bit of a problem sustaining that level of recruiting, unless, of course, it becomes a matter of just paying players to come play football, which they can very well do right now. Yeah, we got a lot of questions.
For me, it's, I don't understand what bargaining chip. What are they going to do? They're going to tell you no. You get more seats at the table, and then we could talk about it later once this thing is a success. Because I believe that there's diminishing returns here to the gap. If you can get us up to 35 or 40 million a year as an institution, and they have 80, That's wonderful that they have 80.
Right.
You
There's
know,
only so much you can spend on
Yeah,
that,
I believe the NIL, revolution in terms of the course correction
where
is
it's
coming.
yeah.
Right?
Well, we'll see. I don't know who's going to do that. The sport has major problems, and it is in terms of its likability, and if you're looking towards growth, I don't think you're seeing that right now. I don't think you're going to see that right now. I think there are much greater questions, more pressing questions and hand-wringing going on amongst college football's faithful than we've seen in a long time.
Yeah, I think in a weird way, we're kind of, forgive me for using this word, I think we're kind of lucky that we're in the position we're in, which is we can't worry about that right now. We're just trying to win football games.
On a national championship scale. We're trying to get back to where we can compete in a division of the ACC.
Right, but if you were Notre Dame, for example, and you've seen yourself make the playoff, but you know that you can't get there. You just can't. Wouldn't that be more maddening than if you were, than us who were trying to worry about, let's go to bowls, let's take the Atlantic back. Like, we've got fish to fry right now that keep us distracted from the larger conversation. But if I was a school like a Notre Dame, I'd say, well, what are we going to do? How are we going to overcome
some of your academic standards and bring in the kinds of players that can allow you to get past that, playoff game and get into a national. I mean, they've made the playoff. They haven't been competitive when they get there.
That's the correct answer, but they would prefer to be able to do it their own way. So you can't anymore. You've got to do it like one way.
I hadn't thought about this. We were going through the games and our picks and the intrigue that surrounds all of these games. And we like to kind of create what's the story. That's usually what gamblers do, right? And fans can do that as well. This is where it's applicable, whether you like to be a sporting guy or gal or not, is tell the story of the game. And I hadn't really thought about, I feel like the most amount of pressure, yesterday I asked you the most amount of pressure on any one player, let's say a quarterback in particular. And I kind of circled back over to Dak Prescott because of the high profile Cowboys, Jerry Jones, rapid approach to death. And then listen, every time you see that guy, you're like, okay, time is running out, Jerry. What are you going to do? Happens. He's lived a fun life. I don't think he's exactly taking care of himself.
No, there's a little Madame Tussauds going on there.
That's correct. That's exactly what I was thinking. I'm always like, ooh, that's weird. Anyhow, you know who I overlooked in all this? Matthew Stafford, and only because, and you're right to bring up, I didn't give the Cardinals much of a chance. They have not played well, although their road record is tremendous.
Right. If he spots them 7, well, it's a different ball game.
Right. But I saw this stat and I thought, okay, well, this is interesting. We all kind of, and I think most people universally agreed that this was a big step up by going out and getting Stafford as opposed to Goff, right? In 4 years with Goff under McVay, the Rams had 2 divisional wins and 3 playoff berths. Goff was 3-3 in 6 playoff games. If you include the Rams-Seahawks wildcard matchup last year in which a hampered Goff was replaced by John Wolford. Remember that? And they basically said that Wolford would be starting the next. Remember?
Yeah. Cam was on a hell of a tear at that time.
Yeah. Only once did the Rams clear the division round. That was the 2018 Super Bowl run, which ended in the game that obviously they scored 3 points. So what does Stafford have to do to – I don't know, even if he loses this game, that you would still say, well, they might have – maybe they were acted too swiftly to bring Stafford in and not keep a good, a consistently solid Goff. No, I don't think anybody's going to say that, even if he loses, right? We
no, yeah,
no.
You're trying to do what you need to do.
They anteed up their salary cap situation. They anteed up.
That's what I'm saying. Like you could only go for it. They're my baseball team in the mid 2000s went for it. They got guys hurt. And then the whole thing was destroyed about 2 years later. That's the price. Sometimes when you go for it, you don't win the whole thing.
The Jaguars, yes. Because they didn't make an investment at the quarterback position, and they had a defense that was a Super Bowl defense, and they lost.
Not everybody can be the Bucs that go all in and win it the first year after they go all in.
That's right. That's what the Bucs do. Once they're in, they're in.
Think about the Eagles teams in the late 90s and early 2000s. They got everybody. Every year, they made another move that would be a huge splash, defensive ends, linebackers, TO, you name it. They make all these moves in order to fortify the ranks, and it's like, okay, now or never. It never panned out for them. They had to wait another 15 years for it to happen.
Tragic as it were. Yeah, I think it's funny that we ended up, won the Super Bowl, may not win it again, won the division, 13 wins in the first 17-game season. That's success. And are set to be good again next year, even if they lose some pieces. Are set to be good again next year.
You know what's interesting is the preseason over-under on the Bucs win total was 12.5. And if you had the over on the 12.5, that Jets game actually probably has an extra level of bliss because of the comeback for 90 yards for Tom Brady. I mean, you think about that because you have to win out to hit your over. That must have been an amazing sweat for a ton of people who played the over on Tampa at 12.5.
I left that alone for us. I thought 12-5 seemed reasonable. 13-4 seemed possible. I didn't have a sense for that. I remember thinking, I'm going to leave that around. It seems like the right number, didn't it? Man, they get by this weekend. You could get excited.
Well, that's the thing. They go over that number, and you think about all of the man games lost to injury. However you say that phrase, I never understand that one. But how all the injuries they had, all the big players that have missed a lot of time. You go to every segment group except, knock on the desk, offensive line and quarterback. And you've had huge swaths of games missed at every position. Receiver, Gronk was hurt. The running backs, defensive line, absolutely decimated at different times. Safeties, linebackers, and corners. Everybody's been hurt. And yet they still hit the over. That would be the biggest feather in the cap if the Bucs say, they get upset this weekend or whatever, is you'd be proud of that fact that they were able to actually get whittled down from all those superstars and find a way to win 13 games.
Just pulled up the props for a lot of these games because they're fun, and you and I like to throw these out here. Tell me if you'll take a bite on any of these because I like some of them. I like Rob Gronkowski over that number now, 58.5.
It's gone up.
It's gone up. We got it yesterday. So if you got it yesterday and you're in on Rob Gronkowski on the over there, you're going to have to go over 58.5. How about this? Josh Allen, anytime touchdown.
That only counts as a rushing touchdown, though. That does not count as a passing touchdown.
That is correct. It's plus 155.
So they think a sneak is going to happen?
Well,
clarify that for me, people, on the chat. I believe an anytime touchdown is not a passing touchdown.
No, it's not a passing touchdown. He has to score a rushing touchdown for that to be an anytime touchdown.
That needs to go higher, I think. That doesn't feel
plus 155. That's good odds. I mean, I feel good about that. I'm gonna win $155 if I lay 100 just for him to score a touchdown.
Yeah, I would like the value at 2-1 on that one.
Okay,
because you get inside the 5-yard line, it might be Singletary.
Well, I mean, it's a risk, Tom. It's gambling. But I think Josh Allen.
I understand.
I mean,
my value point is a different place than yours on Josh Allen. Right.
Fair enough. How about this? Quick, give me the temp. Raiders Bengals temperature. I don't need you to guess it for a gambling bet. I need it for the information I'm going to use to make this next bet.
Oh, you need me to tell you?
I need you to tell me the temperature in Cincinnati. And it's interesting because I think that this eventually becomes a high-scoring game. I'm not so sure that it looks that way in the first half. So I guess what I'm getting at, that game is tomorrow. And by now, we should have a pretty good handle.
Looks like 32.
Oh, man. Okay, it is conducive.
Yeah, it's a
that total of the first half is 24.5 is why I asked.
So our boy Kevin has a report on that one. He puts it in the green zone for scoring. Says below freezing and a 10 to 15 mile an hour wind. Neither of those factors matter much individually.
I'm not going to touch it then. I was thinking that we may get a little bit colder and a little bit more breezy, and I'd go under that first half number. Not going to do it now. I will say this. I'm sticking with what we did earlier this week with the teaser. I'll tease the Bucs down to under 3 at 2.5, and I'll pair that with the Kansas City game. And I'll tease Kansas City down, and that should be an easy teaser pleaser victory, right? Don't we think?
So many stunning results this year in the NFL in the regular course of Sunday to Sunday. But I mean, come on, 6.5 for the Chiefs. That feels like you're taking money.
I mean, doesn't it?
Yeah.
I don't even think. Would you take under 49 Raiders Bengals? No. For the total, Eagles Bucks 46.5. If the rain is there,
still our defense is bad enough. I think the biggest hurdle for the over is actually the amount of possessions in the game, because the Eagles could run the play clock down to inside 5 left and right on you, and the next thing you know, after the first half, they've got the ball for 19 minutes. maybe he doesn't hit that way, but I don't think the weather is going to stop them from going over 46.
If you want to have a lot of fun, and I'll leave it alone, we'll move on. I'll get to the games against my mom here in a moment. But if you want to have a lot of fun with this, there are such things as 7-point teasers. The odds change when you do it. But if you did a 7-point teaser, you could take the Bucs down to -1.5 and the Niners to +10. That feels an awful lot like your crew. That's a rocking chair weekend.
Yeah, that's how I got the Patriots at 10.5. The some sports books, you can gerrymander the hell out of your lines, and then you put them together.
It's a beautiful thing. Jeff Cameron Show 93.3 Real Talk Radio, Warchant TV.
Are you stumped on who to call for fast and affordable crane and tree service? Deep South Tree Service is a cut above the rest. They go out on a limb for their customers. With the largest crane in the Big Bend area, no job is too tall, no job is too small. Call Rob for a free quote today. 850-877-TREE. That's 877-8733. Deep South Tree Service. Our roots run deep.
What's important when shopping at a gun store? Let's start with a friendly and knowledgeable staff. Then add top-notch service, great selection and pricing, and a personal shopping experience only found at a locally owned and operated business. At Red Hills Arms, they're right on target. While other gun stores come and go, Red Hills Arms remains Tallahassee's go-to local gun store for all your firearms needs. Stop by today and get welcomed in like family.
When you are approaching retirement, there are a lot of questions to answer. Do you have enough money to fund your income for life? How should you claim Social Security? And what's your plan for health care and long-term care? Pete Tyson and Preservation Financial Group are here to help you preserve your retirement. The team at Preservation Financial Group can help you get organized, guide you through critical retirement decisions, and create a comprehensive income plan designed around your needs. Don't leave your retirement to chance. It's crucial to understand and address relevant risk before you retire. To schedule a free, no-obligation consultation, reach out to Pete Tyson and Preservation Financial Group today. 850-523-6118. That's 850-523-6118. Or visit them online at preservationfinancialgroup.com.
Our friends at ISF want to wish you a very happy new year. Listen, you want to do amazing things. You have big visions and goals for the future, and you work hard to move your agency forward while navigating the unique challenges inherent in government operations. ISF understands. They're a national management and IT consulting firm serving clients across the country. As we turn the page to another year, ISF reminds you to think big and stay focused on your goals for the future. ISF, your vision, our expertise, solving the future. Visit ISF.com to learn more.
When you need a plumber quick, how long is an acceptable time to have to wait?
Yeah, hey, it's the Millers again. Just calling you about our little plumbing problem.
2 hours?
Hey, we were hoping you can get here soon because the water is getting really bad. Please hurry.
4 hours?
I know you said you were on your way, but, honey, tell the kids to drink water.
8 hours?
Don't worry about us. We're fine.
At M&L Plumbing, you'll never have to wait long for quality, dependable service right when you need it. At M&L Plumbing, we listen to our customers, and our qualified technicians aim to achieve 100% customer satisfaction. So the next time you need plumbing work or repairs, think of the name M&L Plumbing, your local plumbing experts, commercial or residential. Give us a call, 850-575-9393, or visit us online at mandlplumbing.com. M&L Plumbing, for all of your plumbing needs.
We all want more energy, more strength, more results. Well, welcome to Orange Theory Fitness as you take a step towards feeling more alive today. Backed by science, Orange Theory's heart rate monitored workout is scientifically designed to keep heart rates in a target zone, spiking metabolism and increasing energy. Orange Theory Fitness is a one-of-a-kind group personal training workout resulting in more energy, visible toning, and extra calorie burn for up to 36 hours. Experience a more vibrant life today with Orange Theory Fitness. To find out more, go to orangetheoryfitness.com.
The Jeff Cameron is a production of the Warchant.com Multimedia Network. Check out Warchant.com today for the latest news inside Florida State athletics. That's Warchant.com. Now, back to Jeff on Real Talk 93.3.
then it will blare in my ear.
I have it turned down in case that happens.
Welcome back, Jeff Cameron Show Live Nations Friday. Loosey-goosey and flawed. A little flawed today. It was a weird day. I was at the Tallahassee Airport, International Airport.
Of course, right.
At 4:30 this morning.
Did you go to the international terminal or the domestic one?
Just the domestic one. Ran into a fan of the show. They were boarding the same flight as my son. You know, I had my son, it was an unaccompanied minor on this flight, so they tell you that you have to get there well in advance, to say the least. And, you know, I don't know why. I normally wouldn't complain about these kinds of things, but he had a 6:30 flight, and they wanted us there at 4:30 because of paperwork that I needed to fill out since he was an unaccompanied minor. And I thought, okay, well, that's, I understand there's a lot of legalities to all this. Fair enough. I got you. We get there after waking up at 3:30, got him out the door, robust cup of coffee in hand. Not for him, but for me. And I'm expecting to have to fill out all kinds of stuff and take pictures and do a little dance. It took 5 minutes. 5 minutes, which ordinarily you would celebrate and say, that's a great thing. That's a great thing. No. If you're there, so if you're somewhere at 4:30, because the expectation is that it's going to take a while to ensure that everything is, every I is dotted and every T is crossed, then that's the expectation. I get it. No, 5 minutes in, you're good to go, sir. Yeah, it's 4:35. His flight's at 6:30. Why the hell did you all have me come out here 2 hours in advance? But as an aside, I'm done bitching. While we sat there at the gate, a guy came up and was like, big fan of the show. I was like, well, that's nice. That's awfully nice to hear at 6:30 when you've been sitting somewhere for 2 hours and it's only 6:30 in the morning. It's nice to get a little boost, a little support.
Also, that's going to be an interaction that largely should go well. It's 6:30 in the morning.
Yeah, nobody's chit-chatty.
Right. And it's also a steadfast person who's been up for a while,
Well, they had a sweet FSU pullover. I didn't get a chance to tell the guy. I wanted to tell him that's a nice-ass pullover. I mean, I really was eyeing that pullover. It was nice. But he was late.
Was it the Unconquered Spear?
No, he was late to the gate. And he was one of the last people to get on. And my son was already on the plane. You're not allowed to leave as the parent until the plane takes off, just in case they have to come back for any reason.
Oh, wow.
So you cannot leave until the plane is up in the air.
So Clark's not going on one of these trips, is what you're telling me.
Not anytime soon. No.
You're not going through that.
No, I'm not doing that again. But so I sat there and I'm waiting. Meanwhile, I'm watching people race to the gate because the door is shut. And the guy was like, did they close it? I was like, they did, but I think she's coming back. He's like, come on. I mean, you know how mad you'd be.
Did they let him in?
They did.
Oh, usually the door closed is like the zero tolerance policy.
The lady came back. She had to do one last thing. And the cool thing was when she came back, that's when my man who he had asked me, are they gone? I'm like, I don't think they're gone. I think they're coming back. She seems like she's got one more thing to do. And he was like, hopeful. The door opened up. And right before he ran down the terminal there the little concourse thing, he goes, big fan of the show. Takes off. I was like, good for you, buddy. Good for you. I would have said that anyway, but I mean, it was like, he got it.
He may be watching right now. Hope you made it. Well, you did make it safely because Bryce did. So we're good.
Yeah, he made it. I know his flight landed. That is correct. Cue it up. Let's go.
And now for another edition of the Family Pick. Nick.
Go to your room! Ma, the meatloaf!
Take it away, Jeffrey.
And I shall. It is a lopsided affair as we enter the playoffs, ladies and gentlemen. This one has been really one-sided most of the season. I have come back with furious anger this year to regain my title. Mama, how are you?
I'm doing good. How about you?
I'm well. I'm hanging in there.
Glad to hear you say it. I've been thinking about Bryce and on his trip, and he made it there just fine.
Yeah, he made it there, and thanks to his good old dad, he's got a full day in D.C. Friday, Saturday, Sunday. He'll be back on Monday, so he's good.
I know. He's so excited. He followed me, last night and everything, and he was very excited. So I'm anxious he promised me he'd polo me and send me pictures, so I'm anxious to hear from him.
You, by the way, Mom, have to sweep these picks, like win every single game all the way throughout.
I said that to Tom. I said, I don't think there's any hope for me to win this thing, but maybe I can get back and make it a little more respectable.
Yeah, are you down 9 or 8?
No, 8.
Whopping 8 as we enter the playoffs. All right, Raiders at Bengals.
I know, and one of the things about this is I said to Tom, when you get to this point, we're probably not going to have that many discrepancies, unfortunately.
That is correct. Yes, there's no real opportunity for you here, Mother. We're just playing out the string.
I just have to try my best. Bengals.
Yep. Patriots, Bills.
I know. God, I tell you, these games get hard. I tell you, I'm picking the Patriots.
I'm taking the Bills. There you go. You got a chance. You're pulling the upset, huh?
Okay. Well, why not?
All right. Eagles at Bucks.
Bucks. This game really makes me nervous. You remember back in the day when the Eagles were our nemesis and we never could beat them, and then that one year when we finally did to go to the Super Bowl, it was like we had won the Super Bowl when we beat the friggin' Eagles.
Yeah, but here's the thing. Not only did we beat the friggin' Eagles, we shut down the Vet, made their fans cry, went on to win the Super Bowl, and then beat their ass when they opened their new stadium the next year on Monday Night Football for the world to see. That's what we did.
I forgot about that.
Yeah, just a bunch of throttling of the Eagles when it mattered. Yes, it was glorious.
Well, I hope we can do that on Sunday.
Me too. I, too, am taking the Bucks. 49ers at Cowboys.
I know it. I'm taking the Cowboys. I hope that the team that is really good shows up.
I'm taking the 49ers. I like the 49ers on the road to pull the upset here. I just don't trust the Cowboys. There's a weight on the shoulders. Could be wrong here. It wouldn't shock me. But we're going to be on the opposite side of the ledger on this one, too. So you do have a chance to gain some ground here, Mama.
Oh, my Lordy. Well, that's good.
We're both going to take the Chiefs to beat the bejesus out of the Steelers, I would assume.
Yes, I'm taking the Chiefs. But I'll tell you what, I'm happy for the Steelers. They're keeping, in a little bit longer. So if this is like a Ben Swan song, then at least they've getting to be in the playoffs.
I guess. Screw them. Cardinals at Rams. Are we both taking the Rams here?
I am taking the Rams. The Cardinals are just a schizophrenic team, and I don't trust them. And the Rams defense is what I think is going to, maybe give Kyler some trouble.
Yeah, I like the Rams too, and I do think the Cardinals are schizophrenic. So we have two different, and that's quite a few for this first week, so that's good.
I know it is. Well, I don't know. With the Patriots, I would love the Bills to win, but I don't know. It's hard for me to bet against Belichick, really. You know how they say he takes away whatever the other team does, really well and everything, and I don't know if Mac Jones can, really play well, I think they've got a good chance.
I don't think he will play well, and they get a chance, but I don't think they're going to win. I'll take the Bills to win this game. And the Bills did a good job of bouncing back when they lost that game to the Patriots at home in Buffalo. They went on the road and avenged that loss in Foxborough and really were dominant in that game. I think they'll carry the day here. Should be a fun game and a hard-hitting game and a freezing-ass cold game, which is always fun for us as viewers. So it'll be good. But you could pull the upset there, Mom, and edge ever closer and make it respectable, which is your goal, as you've been noted.
I'm working on it. The only game I care about is the Bucks. And if I lose these two, I'll be upset. But if the Bucks win, I'll be happy. Because I feel like we get past this game, then and then if we win, we'll have another game at home, correct?
Yeah, we'll play at home until we get to the NFC Championship game if we get that far, and that would be on the road against Green Bay in all likelihood, unless they get upset, and then who knows? We could host throughout.
Oh, Lordy, that would be something, wouldn't it? Oh,
yes, it would.
That would tickle me.
It would tickle me too, Mama. Love you. Bye-bye.
All right, love you too. Have a good weekend.
You too.
Bye-bye.
Bye. Tickle me. Aren't you just tickled?
All right. So real quick, I'm taking a look at the playoff bracket. And if it goes the way you think it's going to go, which is Cincinnati winning and Buffalo winning and, of course, Kansas City, that would mean that the Chiefs host the Bills next week. And then Tennessee and Cincinnati. I think you'd have a live dog there in the 1-4 matchup.
Yes, I do.
Yeah.
Yes, I do. Don't mind if I do.
Now, you had San Francisco winning, right?
I did, but I really feel like that's a coin flip game. Admittedly, I feel like it's a coin flip game. So I'm not sitting down on my couch thinking, oh, the Niners have got this. I'm not saying that. Whereas some of these other games, for example, I really do think the Rams are going to beat the Cardinals. I hope I'm wrong. I'd like to see the Rams lose, but
if you're right on both hunches, then San Francisco would go to Green Bay. Really good game.
Really
for
good
a
game.
1-6.
Well, and they're going to run the football, so they're going to make you tackle them.
And then the Rams would come across the country to play us.
Come get you some.
That's still a woo.
That's a good game.
Yeah, that weekend would whoop butt.
Mom's right about the surviving this weekend. I think most Bucs fans would say that, clearly we're hobbling into the playoffs. It's a beat up group that is starting to get healthy, maybe not fast enough, maybe not getting back to 100% as quickly as necessary. Now, luckily, again, the Eagles are a flawed team, hence the 9-8 record with a flawed quarterback. There's an opportunity to kind of survive and advance and lick your wounds and get healed up in time to make a little mini run and put a scare into some people. That's the hope. But, it's weird. I heard somebody say this yesterday, and I agreed with it. I can't remember who I'd give them credit. They feel like, and this is a weird way because it sounds like you're waffling, but they felt like either this is a Bucs blowout victory over the Eagles or it is extremely close coming down to the final possession. Like, there's not going to be a middling game. Like, it's not going to be 24-10, 27 to 13. They felt like it was going to be, okay, last possession, we're tied, or, this turned out to be a stinker.
Yeah. You know what this is, what I'm doing right now for the visual medium?
Twiddling your thumbs?
Yeah, that's going to be me in customs wondering which game it is.
Well, I can text you, can't I?
I will take texts in this case. Usually, don't let me know. I don't want to know. But in this case, yeah.
I got to tell you, I am the world's worst about that. And what I mean by that is I'm not the guy that you can trust.
Oh, that's correct.
I am admitting a terrible flaw of mine as a friend. As your friend in particular, I have failed you many times about the no text rule. I can't, it's something in me. I spoil it for my friends. I refuse to abide by their wishes.
But here's the good thing. Here's the good thing about you. You're an equal opportunity texter. You're not an only negative texter or an only positive texter.
Right.
Some of your messages may say, glad to see our a-hole, this player is being himself. Or, suck it, we're going to run away with this thing.
Yeah.
So it could be either or.
Yeah, right.
And I don't read text during those moments. So I hear, if I forgot to put it on Do Not Disturb, I'm like, well,
buzzy thing, yeah.
It's either good or bad. I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know. It could be either or. So it doesn't matter. So thankfully, there are other friends of mine.
It's not a giveaway.
Yes, there are other friends of mine who are Lightning fans.
Who are only negative when they text.
Correct.
Yeah.
Correct. Now our mutual friend, Matt, no, he's fine. But there are a couple others that I grew up with down there that only negative. So if I hear like 3 texts and my phone is face down and it's a Lightning playoff game, we're down 2-0.
Are losing.
We're down 2-0.
Yeah. Yeah, no, so I at least keep you guessing. But I am willing to admit on the airwaves, if you don't want to know the result of a game, don't trust me. I'm telling you the result of that game. I'm texting you halfway through it with a very specific evaluation of the game you don't want to hear about. I don't know why. I can't help it. Like, so if we go up 21-0 and Tom says to me, now listen, I'm going to watch the game in its entirety when I get to where I'm going, so don't tell me anything. But it's 21-0 late in the third and this game is over, I have to share the joy. I have to let him know, Tom, it's over. Fear not, when you sit down to watch the game, we're going to beat that ass. It's 21-0.
All right. So I land if all goes according to plan, and we'll see, because there's a front pushing through Florida on Sunday. But everything goes according to plan. I land at 155. That means I'll have cell service, right around 2. If things
You'll have a text waiting on you.
If things are really, really good, like don't text anything from 1 to 145. And if at 145 something's good, just send me a picture of the Dos Artes.
Oh,
if we're in business.
I have a little Dos Artes left. I can show you that, or a fine scotch if you don't mind. A little Pete.
If it's a beverage, then yeah.
Just a beverage.
And if it's bad news, send me like a Busch Light or something like that.
I don't have one in the house, but I will.
Just go to Google Images and
good.
grab one.
You know what? I think I'll send you. I'll send you, sure, a Dos Artes, but I could also send you one of our favorite pictures that we have over the years sent back and forth to each other.
Oh yeah, I'm well aware. I was trying to find a word that wouldn't piss off people on these airwaves, so I'll go with inauguration. Yeah.
I'll send it to you. It'll be fun. By the way, You should know about our friends, T-Spark, Roofing and Construction. You hear about them enough, but that's for good reason. Not only are they our partner with the Jeff Cameron Show and the fine folks here at 93.3 Real Talk Radio and Warchant TV, they're also the best at what they do. It's important to hire companies that have employees versus, say, subs. T-Spark employees are insured to be on the roof, go through training and safety courses. Every Monday, Travis walks his guys through safety training. T-Spark is a drug-free work environment. Drug-free and criminal background check policies exist at T-Spark Roofing and Construction. Commercial tenant build-outs, looking to open a second store, a new restaurant, etc., and need commercial renovations to get the space designed the way you need. Just call our friends at T-Spark. Check them out, T-Spark Roofing and Construction. Chef Cameron Show 93.3 Real Talk Radio, Warchant TV.
Your local news now.
The Jackson County Sheriff's Office announced on Thursday an arrest of a man connected to a New Year's Eve shooting. Charles Edwards Peterson Jr. was arrested Tuesday in the state of Illinois and is facing a murder charge here in Florida. The Jackson County Sheriff's Office Criminal Investigations Division was able to confirm that Peterson was in Illinois and worked with local authorities to obtain additional information. Peterson was charged with murder on Friday, January 7th, and a warrant for arrest was issued. On Tuesday, Peterson was arrested in Coles County, Illinois, by the U.S. Marshals Great Lakes Regional Fugitive Task Force. No one was injured after a Gadsden County school bus was hit by a dump truck on State Road 267 Thursday afternoon. Troopers say the bus was traveling south when a dump truck was approaching an exit ramp from the east and failed to yield, T-boning the bus. FHP says 14 kids were on board. Paramedics evaluated the students on board as a precaution. This is Rachel Lene with your Real Talk 93.3 local news update, brought to you by McLemore Systems, Tallahassee's go-to Mac store. Check them out online at McLemoreSystems.com.
This is meteorologist Paul Trombley with your Real Talk 93.3 weather update. Clear skies and quiet this afternoon with a high of 64. Northwest winds 5 to 10 miles per hour. Lows around 43 tonight, partly cloudy. Chance for scattered thunderstorms tomorrow. Daytime highs approaching 66, partly cloudy skies. Much cooler Sunday and Monday with highs in the low 50s. Chance for scattered storms Sunday. This report is brought to you by the Lawn Johns. For all your landscaping and lawn care needs, visit thelawnjohns.com. Right now, 63.
Your body is a masterpiece designed to heal itself from within. Learn how to maximize your health by tuning in to Phenomenal Health with me, Dr. Ryan Finn. Saturdays at 2:30. Experience true health today and call Finn Chiropractic at 386-7700.
Clean, renewable energy means fresher air, healthier residents, new green jobs, and a stronger, more resilient community. How we get there is up to you. Share your input today to help shape the Tallahassee of tomorrow. Take the Clean Energy Survey at talgov.com.
If you weren't the owner of Gordo's and all those wonderful restaurants, Eddie, what would you be doing?
You know, I think I'd want to be I don't know what I'd want to be, a boat captain or a cowboy.
You know how to use a lasso?
No.
You'd have to do that if you were a cowboy.
Yeah, but I've never even been on a horse. It's not my place to be on a horse.
I agree. And the horse thanks you. Gordo's, bringing the flavor and flair of Cuban food to Tallahassee since 1996.
Here's what you missed on the Greg Tish Show.
Charlie Crist, he's running for governor. To mention the governor, I'm tired of it. I'm sick of it. And we see it in presidential. We see it all the time. It's the new norm. We even saw it in local that it should be. It's like, hey, I'm running for this local seat.
Do you understand? I heard a statistic that like half of our population reads at like an 8th grade level.
And what is the other 2/3 rate at?
That means almost half does not. You're right.
The Greg Tish Show, Monday through Friday, 6 to 9 a.m., only on Real Talk 93.3. The Cameron Show, brought to you by Orange Theory Fitness. 2 Tallahassee locations, Midtown on Thomasville Road and Northside in the Village Common Shopping Center. Online at orangetheoryfitness.com.
I got to get something together. I got to get a fitness routine going. I got to have something that's scientifically proven to work and is dependable, somewhere where I feel supported, somewhere where I have a game plan on a daily or every other day basis. It's Orange Theory Fitness. Holds you accountable. A lot of options, a lot of different kinds of workouts. And I think you'll find that it's something you'll rather enjoy. That first week is always interesting. You're trying to figure out what's the deal here, but people really aren't staring at you if you're intimidated. Because I think I find that out. I think a lot of people say to me, hey, I know you go there, but it seems weird to be running next to people. I'm like, oh, no. A, it's spaced out enough. B, nobody's concerned with your times or how much in the way of calories you've burned or how far you've run. They're worried about their own deal. But you do feel supported, and they are really knowledgeable. The coaches, all of this is science-based, so it's not as if it's a willy-nilly, we think it's going to work. It works. Orange Theory Fitness. Check them out. There's 2 locations in town, by the way. 2 locations in town. One of them's Midtown. The other one's out there right next to Fresh Market. Speaking of which, I got the biggest shrimp, like 2 of these Mac Daddy, those giant Florida shrimp that they look like lobsters, mini lobsters. I put them out there on the grill the other night, Tom. Delicious. I'm getting to be a pro.
Was it a garlic butter sauce?
There was a garlic butter sauce.
Yeah, there you go. I listen.
Yeah,
I listen.
It's good stuff. I just basted them a little bit. Slow cooked them. It was outstanding. I'm getting where I like it. I get out there.
Murder was the base that they gave me.
All right, we got picks. Do we need to do it? We've got plenty of time to go through them.
Oh, we got some time.
We had some winners last night. Your Lightning came through big time. North Florida Payroll Services, locally owned for nearly 15 years, offering payroll and HR services, including full online applicant onboarding, integration into payroll. Save your company money and headaches today. Head to northfloridapayroll.com.
Hey, Big Daddy, having some Red Russians tonight?
We'll know in about 47 seconds.
Into an open wing. It's picked up by Dowdy. An empty net. He scores.
Hot damn. Big Daddy's done it again. Red Russians all around, Teddy.
All right, Big Daddy.
Whew. Well, Tom, you're on a roll with hockey. I think, have you surveyed the landscape for tonight?
Tonight, no. Fridays are weird.
They are weird.
I like my NFL picks. The Gronk parlay, or not parlay, but prop bet is a good one. So Josh Allen on the over for the rushing total.
I'm going to take Michigan plus 10 against Illinois. And I don't have another college basketball bet. I'm 1-1 on my college basketball bets. We're just now jumping into the deep end of the pool for college basketball. You could, if you wanted, and there are metrics that would say, please do, take Purdue and lay the 20 against Nebraska. And get ready to watch that ass beat. But I do like Michigan plus 10 against Illinois. So I'll sprinkle a little. We'll sprinkle a little. Michigan plus 10 versus Illinois. Anybody watch college basketball on a Friday night? Anybody?
Big Ten does.
Unless you're there.
That's Big Ten territory.
No, I know, but I'm saying, like, how rare is it that you come home on a Friday and, like, you know what, settled in for a little college basketball? It doesn't happen ever. It never does. It never does.
Noon on a Saturday is okay. Hell, 7 o'clock on a Saturday is fine.
Yeah, it makes no sense to me. It's a weird, like, college basketball has a very specific feel. Friday evening is no way, no how.
The ACC,
unless I'm there, it's a game I was at or something.
We as a conference do it right, Sunday through Wednesday. That's one thing we get totally right. No Thursday ACC basketball unless of COVID stuff, or no Friday. But Saturday through Wednesday, it's a nice little sweet spot. Monday night is a really nice college basketball night. I like Big Monday, and not to watch just any teams, but I like when we play on Mondays. And we would have played on Monday night against Duke. That was the original schedule. Had ESPN not secured the wild card game. That's why our game with Duke is on Tuesday night. But I do like Tampa Bay in the NHL tomorrow night, hosting Dallas, hosting the Stars. They're angry in Tampa because it was a result win, not a process win. So you get a good effort out of them tomorrow night against Dallas. The -1.5 on the puck line gets you a +115 provision. I say -1.5. Do it again. Ride the Tampa Bay Lightning.
You are feeling it with the Bolts. A lot of times you like to mix it up a little bit. Are you having trouble finding the rest of the league to be consistent or inconsistent where you can pin them down?
Yeah. The East it's a weird league this year. Typically, the last 25 years, the West has more good teams. Same thing as the NBA.
Yeah.
The West has more good teams than the East. It's backwards this year. The East is loaded, and the West is pretty bad.
I know, and we haven't had a chance to talk about it, but I have watched it 500 times since it happened. I can't stop watching it. Did I bring it up? Have you seen the John Morant block?
Yeah.
From earlier in the week?
Yeah, I did. Yeah. Ira put that on Twitter. That's how I saw it first.
I have watched that several times from several different angles. That is an absurd. It's not that he blocked the shot. It's where his head is in relation to the square on the middle of the backboard. That it doesn't seem like that should be possible. There's a picture inside the gymnasium at Eckerd College in St. Petersburg. I went to basketball camp at Eckerd College, as well as soccer camp for that matter. But basketball camp at Eckerd College, I went 4 or 5 years in a row. And you would play in these games, these pickup games. They would divvy up the teams and all that. Yeah, it's a long story short. I loved Eckerd College basketball camp. It was awesome. It was intense. And some of my favorite memories are in the games, those pickup games, because they had a real ref with a clock and like you felt pressure to come through and all of that, right? But anyhow, I don't know who the guy is. And I've got to go next time I'm in St. Pete, I'm going to do this. But I kid you not. Now, somebody out there may know who this person is. There's a black and white photo from the old St. Pete Times that when you walk off the court at Eckerd College, it's a tiny gym.
Gary Shelton.
When you walk off the court of Eckerd College, I mean, it's a small basketball court, just like it's a small college. When you walk off, up against the wall by the water fountain where the 2 bathrooms are, there's a black and white photo from the St. Pete Times of a player for Eckerd College, I think it's in the 60s, who is... his hand is above the top of the backboard getting a rebound. And I've never checked to see who that player was, but there's some dude in the 60s jumping above the backboard at an Eckerd College game.
Here's hoping that the Noles do to Syracuse what they did to John Morant in the tournament.
That's true. Good work out of you, sir. Thank you, Matthew. You guys enjoy the football. Have a great weekend. Go Noles, and we'll talk to you.